Hey guys, this is Ash here from the Network Studios. Welcome back to another video. Today's video, I'm going to give you an in-depth video on how we record Park Drive. So some of you guys may have seen that people like Steve Pepperdine, who plays Paul in Park Drive, has done like live streams in the past and behind the scene videos at the end of Park Drive. But today I'm going to do an in-depth video on basically how I record Park Drive and how I edit Park Drive. So what I'm going to do for this video is I'm going to give you a little bit of a kind of tutorial on how I would record a Park Drive episode. So not as if I was doing episode 1 of Park Drive, but let's just say, you know, if we were doing if we were doing the next episode of Park Drive. So I've got my friend Amir here with me for the demonstration, who would represent an actor in Park Drive. Now usually when we shoot a normal Park Drive episode, there would be a lot more than just us two in, although I'm not gonna lie, I have done a Park Drive episode with just me and somebody else in before, but usually we do have about, you know, 3, maybe 4 people. And basically Park Drive is not scripted, so anything or any scenes that you see in the episodes, there's no script or anything like that. I basically get the actor in, so say if Derek's going to be doing a scene, I'll say, right, I need Derek and Noreen, and basically in this scene you're going to be talking about the wedding, and then I'll maybe start off the conversation or something like, you know, Derek, are you looking forward to the wedding? It's getting closer now. And then Derek would kind of just freestyle something to say after that, you know, judging by what he just heard from Noreen. So basically it's just starting a made up conversation basically, and that's what Park Drive runs on. So the scene gets a topic of what the scene's about, but in terms of what the characters have to say or how they react to what the scene's about is completely up to them. So what I would do when I'm ready to start Park Drive is I would turn my HUD off. So I go to the options, use interface, display HUD, display hand. So as you can see now, I'm completely, you know, there's no X buttons, there's nothing on the screen, apart from the whole world, you know, what we're obviously in today.
You can't see the hands or anything.
No, you can't see, you can't see anything. So basically what I would go ahead and do is I would say, right, Amir, I need you to stand outside the mansion and you're going to wait for Steve Woods to come. So Amir would get in the skin, what he would be going in, obviously if he was doing a scene with Jimmy, he would get into Jimmy's skin. So if he goes into Jimmy's skin,
like I'll show you.
Yeah, so he would obviously go to Jimmy's skin, and then when, you know, the other person, say if it was, you know, say if it was Ant, for example, and he was going to Steve Woods and he was starting here, I'd do a flyover, I'd say, Ant, you know, are you ready as Steve Woods? You know, Jimmy would obviously be ready, he'd be stood there, you know, he'd be stood here, where he was supposed to stand, and then I would get into a position where I could see Steve walking up the road, where I could see Jimmy, and what I would do is I'd do a countdown from 5, so I'd go like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So people can mute their mics.
And then people can mute their mics who aren't in the scene, and, you know, people who are in the world know to get out of the area when they're not obviously in the scene. And then basically the scene would start. Then when the scene is over, usually when a Park Drive scene ends, that's usually, say if Steve and Jimmy were having a conversation, Steve would say something like, right, I need to get going now, Jimmy, I've got things to do. And then Jimmy would go something like, alright, bye. And Jimmy would walk maybe one way, Steve would walk the other way, and then I would just cut the recording. So in a Park Drive episode, there is 5 scenes, so I do 5 different scenes with different characters. Sometimes, you know, Noreen might be in scene 1, and then she might be in scene 3 or scene 4. Then after scene 5, we take an advert break, and everything you've just basically seen here, what we've just done, we basically just keep repeating it until we've done it 10 times. and then when we've done it 10 times, that's basically the episode done. So depending what the scene is about, you know, sometimes if it's a little bit more of a, you know, let's say for example like when Steve Woods pushed Derek off the roof, you know, Derek had to climb up a ladder to get onto the roof to look at the TV aerial. And, you know, we sometimes have to do things like build a ladder or build something to prepare ourselves for the scene. Or sometimes, you know, like the other day we did a scene where Derek was to come into Bill's house and it was all trashed. You know, we had to trash it a bit before the scene starts. And, you know, pretty much that's more or less how we do it. And that's pretty much the way it goes. So I think that pretty much covers everything in terms of the world and everything we do inside of the Park Drive map. So when Park Drive has finished recording, when we've done all the scenes, I tell the characters, you know, I'm leaving the world now. I'm going to Share Factory, and I obviously go ahead and exit. So what I'm gonna do now, guys, is I'm gonna jump over to the Share Factory, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start up the Share Factory and show you guys how we edit it. So I'm on the Share Factory now, as you can see, and what I usually do is go to my last project, but I'm going to go to my projects this time because I've actually made a duplicated copy of the edited Park Drive. Now, I do something which is quite clever on Share Factory, and it basically saves a lot of storage, but you don't get to keep every single Park Drive episode. So what I did on Park Drive episode 1 is basically I made my intro, I made my outro, and then what I did for episode 2 is I just went onto the saved project for Park Drive episode 1 and deleted all of the scenes apart from the intro, outro and cuts to advert break, and then I just put the new scenes in between, and that's what I've been doing ever since. I mean, obviously I've made new projects as the intros changed, but when I'm, you know, for whatever intro I'm using for Park Drive, I just delete the scenes from last episode out of the clip. I still have the scenes recorded, you know, like as in the individual scenes, but I take them just out of the editing clip and put the new ones in. So I'll show you more an example of what I do now. So I'm just going to load up the episode. So this would have been last episode. So this is my NTV bit, as you can see. It has NTV, Network TV. That's, you know, what I put at the beginning of, you know, every single Park Drive. And that's what like ITV and BBC do, and Channel 4 before a programme starts.
And Channel 5 as well.
Channel 5, you know, you get the J. Stevens Sky Sports.
Yeah, and kind of channels.
And then you get the, you know, the DFS advert. The reason why this is all as one is because when my data corrupted, I just got back a previous episode of Park Drive and just trimmed it down and then rendered the clip. So I just put the intro, you know, the sponsors together. So each Park Drive episode, I keep this, and then I have 1 scene, 2 scenes, 3 scenes, 4 scenes, and 5 scenes. And then you can see there it says Park Drive, so that's the advert break. Then I have 1 scene, 2 scene, 3 scene, 4 scene, 5 scene, and then you can see there that that's the outro. Now the reason why the outro's in 2 clips is because I added some extra stuff on, like, you know, the Facebook page for Park Drive and stuff. It's got the it's got the you know, the sponsor again, and it's got the network TV thing. So when I come into an episode, what I do is I go ahead and, you know, say this is the episode before. I just go ahead, delete them out of the editing, so we just get rid of them right up until the advert break, and then I just simply go and add a new clip. So as you can see, let's just say, for example, for whatever sake, let's just say I'll use this. I'll use this clip. So that'd be number 1. And then, for example, let's just, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then that would then make my new 5 clips. Then I would go ahead and delete all the, after the break clips. Obviously up until the outro for the cut break. And then what I would go ahead and do is, once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'd just go ahead and put things like, the next 5 scenes in for the episode. Now, the music moves itself, so I just grab the music and move it back to the outro, because with me making an up-to-date outro on this, on this project, I had to re-put the music there, but usually the music would already, be in the clip. I put it right back there, and then depending on what the clip is, for example, say if someone's going to smash a window or someone's going to shoot a gun, I may put a gun sound in. So if I was to put a gun sound in, like let's say for example, for heaven's sake, this obviously didn't happen, but let's just say that, Steve Woods was going to shoot Jimmy right there, which he obviously didn't. I would go ahead and get my source for a gunshot, which usually I would just type in gunshot sound effect on YouTube, but I actually have one on my iPad through a DJ app. There's a gunshot sound. I would go to add track 2, which is, obviously adding commentary. I would then start the commentary, and when the countdown goes, I would just basically, my cousin Ethan, do that. And then let's just say, for example, we're playing back the clip. Basically, my cousin Ethan, I don't know if cousin Ethan, right, basically.
Oh, not the sniper.
So there you go, you could hear the gunshot. I obviously said basically, but there's a gunshot in there. And then same if there was a window breaking sound effect, or a car crash, or anything, an explosion, I would put one into the editing. But if it's just a normal everyday episode, what doesn't really matter, then I go to add text. I go down to, I actually go to add overlay text. I go to this text here. I put the N in capitals and the TV in small. I change the colour to yellow because NTV's always been yellow. I lay it in the corner, and I just basically do that for every single scene. So I'm not going to do it for every single scene, because obviously you get the point. I'm just writing the same text, moving it in the corner. So depending on my time schedule, sometimes when I get Park Drive done and it's quite a bit late, I just render it. If I have a decent amount of time, then I go ahead and watch it through, just to make sure that it's all
see if there's not
good.
Wrong.
Make sure that there's nothing wrong. Make sure that nothing, has gone bad in the scene. And then I would basically go ahead and render it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to generate this as the thumbnail, so I don't get it confused.
Just going a piece of shit
with the with the normal editing, and then I more or less render it.
I've been playing Call of Duty.
And then once it's rendered, I obviously upload it to YouTube. So that's pretty much how we record Park Drive. That's the way we record it, and basically it can be very stressful. Sometimes we can get scenes wrong and have to retake them. Maybe even sometimes 3 times, 4 times. Then sometimes, I might think of something funny to say in a scene, or another character does, and at the end of the scene we have a little giggle about it. We have a bit of a laugh and, call one another a noggin. Or, or if someone does something wrong and another person notices it, the end of the scene, we'll count it out and say, next time just don't maybe fly too near, because I think you might have been in the way of the camera.
Everyone are gonna shoot you in the face.
That's pretty much it, to be honest. That's pretty much how
Hey,
we
mister.
record
That was
Park
your
Drive.
Call of Duty
So I hope you
experience.
guys did obviously enjoy
Hey,
this video.
that was your Call of Duty
If it did
experience.
help you out, I can't think of any more detail to go in about how we record Park Drive. It's quite simple, really. The stress of it, the stress of Park Drive is getting the people on to make the episodes. Like, some people can't always make it, and sometimes it ruins your plans
Sometimes
for
it
the
can get
episode.
stressful because it's our PlayStation Plus.
Or someone runs out of plus without knowing. You never know if someone's gonna wake up the next day ill. So it can bummer you, and it can sometimes cause arguments. But Park Drive, other than that, is quite simple to make and record. So like, subscribe, and comment. We'll see you guys in the next video.